Welcome to Generation Dragons episode 58. Steve, it feels like it's been a long time, but how are you, good sir?
Cheers, man. I'm doing well. Clink.
Tink, tink. I just bink. I got a special brew for support of the of resettling Ukrainians in Canada, so
I saw that.
Represent that.
Should probably show it up close. It's pretty good.
Brew for Ukraine. Can't see it because it's all
the light. There you go. Send me a picture. I'll add it in the video right where you're doing that. So.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there. Yeah, brew for Ukraine. Yeah, so it's a Kitchissippi beer. Part of $1 from every beer that they sold was to help resettle Ukrainians here in Ottawa. So, obviously, me being of Ukrainian background, I'd have to support these guys.
I'm good.
But anywho,
but yeah, doing well. Back to your question, doing well. Good to see you. It has been a little longer than normal since we didn't record last week. But or did we? No, we didn't
record last week. But no, you know what? It's all right. We're coming into the summer season. We're still pumping these bad boys out. Mm-hmm. Episode 58. We're only 42 more episodes away from 100. So that, we're not that far away.
About a year behind to go. But
yeah, man. So, anyways, since we are the week of Canada Day and
America Day, or I should say Independence Day on Monday.
Independence Day to our American watchers and listeners. We figured we'd do a little chit chat about the best Canadian developers and the best American developers. We're not going to talk about the other ones, but just developers. Yeah. So, Steve, how do you want to start this? Do you want to go ahead and kick it off on your? Again, we're going to just name a bunch of Canadian studios and then
American after.
Studios.
Yeah,
clearly we know the Canadian studios are much better because they include games such as KOTOR and Mass Effect. But
I can't wait for some of my American pals to them's fighting words. Let's see how it goes.
And like a game like in the States and Canada we call soccer, and then the rest of the world we call football. That probably outsells all of the games that we're talking about every year. But
in Canada, in Vancouver.
In Canada. But yes, Steve, go ahead, kick it off, good sir.
All right,
what's one?
Let's start off with a pretty big one. Just since I finished this game not too long ago and they made it, Eidos Montreal.
Nice.
Canadian developer just down the road from us, really not too far away. They have other games behind them, of course, like Deus Ex was one I played a lot of. Guardians of the Galaxy, as I just said. Tomb Raider was another series they do. So I'm trying to keep it quick and short. That's a good one from Canada. You're up.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I always like playing their games, like you said, Tomb Raider, Marvels, and Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers and Deus Ex, however you want to say it. Seems to always do well. They always help and support other Square Enix, Eidos games. And it's kind of cool because they're in the old building of, oh my goodness, I know this one. They just recently collapsed. Well, I say recently, I mean the last 5 years. Anyways, yes.
If you think of it, tell me. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No, it's another developer. It's not Midway, but something similar to Midway that had recently.
Not Capcom or.
No, who were the guys that made that art game that was on a pad that came out when you and I were working at EB, or shortly after you and I were working at EB?
Like Pico thing, or anyway, we'll move on. Come back.
Well, we'll think about it. Anyways, we'll come back to it.
All right,
we'll come back.
Give me a Canadian one.
Another big Canadian one. Or I'd say big. I mean, for me, Studio MDHR with their Cuphead games. Cuphead,
who doesn't know it?
When it was first announced, it was,
I remember when it was first announced, I'm like, what a stupid looking game. Did they make that in 1920?
Yeah, I went, sweet, they made a game that looks like it's from the 1920s.
Yeah,
I want to play that.
But then actually when I played it, I realized it was freaking hard and awesome. Like it's a great platformer. Anyway, I cut you off because
but that's it. It's an amazing game. It's great. It is challenging as poop.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would release a physical edition of it. And I will
I would have
toot that horn.
Heartbeat.
Toot that horn every day I can. Hopefully, with the new collector's edition the DLC that comes out later this, in a couple of days, actually, that they do release a game of the year or super collector's version, whatever they call it. But yeah, that's a good one. Good one there, Steve.
All right, I'm gonna go with you and I were just talking about this one, but this is probably in my day one of my favorite developers, and that would be BioWare. They've just done so many good games. So KOTOR, of course, 1 and 2. Jade Empire didn't get into as much. I did play it. I think you were a bigger fan of Jade Empire than I was. But Mass Effect, man, 1, 2, and 3. Let's not talk about Andromeda, but 1, 2, and 3. Oh, man, amazing. Man. I actually hurt myself at work, I think, for Mass Effect 2 or might have been 3, and I couldn't physically work. I jumped off the top of a building onto a Fracco and landed on uneven planks and rolled my foot, and my foot just... So I couldn't walk for almost 2 weeks, and I just played the crap of that game and finished it. It was awesome. It was like a mini vacation. So.
We were missing a big one. I mean, one that's actually decently impactful for me too from them. Dragon Age.
Age. Yeah, I didn't even put it in there. So
yeah, I didn't even think about it. But yes, Jade Empire, Mass Effect, KOTOR, and Dragon Age.
All out of Edmonton, right?
All out of Edmonton, more or less. Good Canadian boys and girls making those games. So glad to BioWare. Next one up for me, good sir. Next Level Games. So Next Level Games is a little under the radar. They are a small developer. They were a second party developer for Nintendo for the longest time. They just got recently purchased by Nintendo earlier this year, end of last year, could have been early last year too. Everything is goddamn blur. But they make games like Luigi's Mansion, 3DS, so Dark of the Moon or something like that. No, that's Transformers. But yes, they made the Luigi's Mansion number 2, and then the one that just recently came out for the Switch, Luigi's Mansion 3. They did Mario Strikers. They did the Punch Out game for the Wii. They did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All those games they're on my Switch or even DS and that.
Exactly.
They've got some pretty big games.
Yeah, and obviously they're doing decently well when they were purchased by one of the largest video game companies out there, being purchased by Nintendo. So yeah, another great Canadian developer.
All right, moving on, and I can't disagree with you there. That was a bit of a shocker. But I'm going to go with where our buddy Joel works and Relic Games, or Relic Entertainment, I think is how Relic Entertainment. But Company Heroes, Age of Empires, really Age of Empires, the big one.
Company Warhammer.
Heroes, yep.
RTS.
Okay.
Yeah. We're super strong in the RTS world. Warhammer, Age of Empire, and Company of Heroes. Let's see what else they do in the future. I know Company Heroes 3 is expected for 2022, maybe 2023, but let's just I think it's 2023 now. But yeah, man, that's a good one.
Yeah. So moving on, just to keep it rolling, what do you pick next?
So the Coalition. Based out of Vancouver. That's it. The Gears of War studio.
Nice. Mine are there. You can't see it because I have it blurred out. Wait, there, wrong side.
The Gears of War studio. So they were the guys that made Gears of War 4 and working on Gears of War 5 and working on Gears of War 6. They're the Gears studio. They'd worked on Gears Tactics with the help of other companies, but yeah, they're based out of Vancouver, if I recall correctly. Have some of the original developers from Epic that moved over to help with that with the Coalition. That's another monstrous developer out of Canada.
I think we're getting to the nitty gritty, but looking at the list here that we have together, I say Ubisoft. We didn't say it yet, did we? Because I was kind of bouncing around.
We haven't said Ubisoft. Nope, we haven't said Ubisoft yet.
So there's so many games that they do there. huge. So Assassin's Creed, of course, back in the day, Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs. I didn't play Watch Dogs too much. I did try it out. But Far Cry, I love the Far Cry series, man. But yeah, just
some of the strongest Ubisoft games have come out of Canada. The develop, like obviously with partnering with other Ubisoft studios around the world, but being the primes out of Montreal, Quebec City, Toronto.
Like Valhalla, I have so many hours into that game.
Well, you just even like so Splinter Cell, the Splinter Cell remake that's supposed to be coming is coming out of Ubisoft Toronto, which is great. I can't wait for that. I loved, and then the last Splinter Cell, I can't remember the name of it now. I'm trying to blank. Not Blacklist, something else.
Black Ops.
But Black Ops is Call of Duty.
Oh, right. I don't remember then.
But anyways, it's based on it came out of the Montreal studio, if I recall correctly. So Ubisoft is super strong. I would probably tie it back to the strong, French Quebecois for our Quebec listeners, and our French because Ubisoft being based out of France, and it was kind of easy to communicate with a province that was
founded by
spoke
France.
the same language. So next one here is I wouldn't call this the best for last, but it's one of the biggest ones. But EA Vancouver,
Vancouver. You're gonna say there. I've had a tour of that studio.
I was gonna say I know you've been there once before, but they've done NHL every year. They do FIFA every year, which is crazy because FIFA is one of the highest sold, if not the most sold. Game out of EA, which is amazing. So out of Canada, and more kind of recently that's not sports based is Battlefront 2 from 2017, which was an excellent game. The story was great. I mean, I liked the story. Maybe other people didn't, but I enjoyed the story. The online multiplayer was great. It's still good if you jump in every once in a while. But that's that. I mean, Steve, what do you think?
I think
Canadian.
It's pretty stellar lineup. Like, it's hard to beat that. I mean, globally, Canada's ranked third in the world for game developers, and that I don't remember what the market was, but I think it was for size and numbers, basically what we put out, and only second to Japan and the US, who are number 1 and 2 respectively. But I think a pretty stellar lineup. But going into the US now, let's see what they have to offer in comparison. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, in the US, again, there's a bunch of game developers out of the US. We picked some of the highlights here. I know there's others, obviously, but if we're missing a few, feel free to add it to the comments. But here on the US, same thing with the Canadian developers. We missed some strong Canadian developers. Feel free to throw them up there in our comments. But yes, for top American developers, we'll kick it off right off the top. Valve,
huge.
Half-Life, Portal, Steam. That's why there hasn't been another Half-Life or Portal game, because they just made Steam and they're just printing money.
You're not wrong there. I was a huge Half-Life fan, like huge, loved it. But I wish they would make another one. I actually played it on PC. I was never really a PC guy, but I did play PC games. I played it there first, and then loved it to death. I think back on the original Xbox back in the day when they put it on there too.
Yes, I can't remember where I played it. Half-Life 2 first. I feel like I may have played it on the Dreamcast, but I might be completely wrong there. I feel like I played Half-Life.
Was it?
I don't, but that's what I'm saying. It might be an OG Xbox. I'd
probably the Xbox.
Have to look it up.
Yeah. But how can you go wrong with Valve, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I kick it over to you, Steve, man.
I'm just going to follow the line here so we don't miss anything, unless there's a few that stand out. But this is a good one to mention just because it was probably my wife's favorite game that they made, and that's Naughty Dog. And the game, Crash Bandicoot. She loved the death of that. And of course they do, The Last of Us and Uncharted, which that's more our flavor. I really loved Uncharted. The Last of Us is really good. Very similar game style play in that. But Naughty Dog and Crash Bandicoot, that was my wife all over the PS1 big time. So
No, that's exactly it. Naughty Dog has I don't think they've released a game that has not done well. I mean, that helps with the backing of Sony, but Crash Bandicoot
Crash was the mascot for PlayStation for forever. Well, until what, the last console generation or so.
2 consoles.
Yeah, I think it was just PS3 was the end of it.
Yeah. But even then, right now, at some point in Naughty Dog threw it up and Activision purchased the Crash name. But yeah, 100%. Naughty Dog is an excellent. Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, some of the best stories. Uncharted, they made the game, they made the movie off of the games. It's constantly going. It's probably Uncharted. Naughty Dog is probably one of my favorite developers.
Period.
Out there. I would say one of them, not the top one, but one of them. Next one up on. Well, that's it. Now, next up on the list is Sucker Punch, and I know it seems kind of PlayStation heavy on this. And I'm sorry, Xbox fans, but Anyways, so next one up is Sucker Punch. So Sly Cooper, Infamous.
I forgot about Sly. That was a great game.
And Ghost of Tsushima. And Ghost was an excellent game. A nice swan song to let the PS4, out to pasture. Sending it to the farm. To live the rest of its life at the farm. That PS4. But yes, it started off with Sly Cooper and Infamous. So two very excellent groups of games.
So the next one, I've always been a huge Spider-Man fan. You can tell with my comic collection, some of the figures. So I've always liked Spider-Man games, and guess who makes a lot? Insomniac Games. So for an American developer, I think they're one of the top ones. They also made Ratchet and Clank, Spyro, Resistance Fallen Man, which I loved, especially the first one for the PS3. Was it the PS3 or PS2? No, PS3.
Yeah, PS3.
And that was like my day one game for the PS3, and I loved the heck of that. That back then on the first one, you could play multiplayer co-op, so split screen, where you couldn't on the second. Drove me nuts. Yeah. But love that game. Love the whole storyline and that. But yeah, Insomniac, can't go wrong with Spider-Man.
No, and I'm so excited for them to do Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. I'm dying for more news for how those two games are going to come out. I mean, next up on the list here we have is Bethesda. Bethesda pre-X.
Never say that word.
Bethesda pre-Xbox or Microsoft buying them out. They've got Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Deathloop, Quake. So I was kind of iffy about putting up Quake on there and seeing with Deathloop only because at that point Bethesda is developing but also publishing.
Yep.
But Elder Scrolls and Fallout are hard, deep Bethesda games, and other than Fallout 76, I wasn't a big Fallout fan, so I can't really comment on that.
I got pretty big in the Fallout in the beginning, not the later games. But yeah, I love the whole concept of the post-apocalyptic, nuclear wasteland kind of ideas. That's right up my alley for stuff. So for
me, I'm always high fantasy, so I've always liked Elder Scrolls and playing Skyrim and Elder Scrolls Online with High Isles that just recently got released. So
I'm way more like a sci-fi guy with stuff like that, so that's why I like Mass Effect. But the games were just so good that I could not play Skyrim and the others. There's so many options.
Oblivion and all that stuff. Yeah, Morrowind, Oblivion. Yeah.
So I was working at EB Games, managing it then, and we took in a ton of trades on that game after it had been out for a while, and all the collector's items came with the coins. Right. Yes. And so a lot of times the coins would be in there, and I literally had a stash of 15 of those coins to Azradak or whatever the gods are called. Yeah. So it was really cool. It's hey, this isn't part of the trade. You don't want your coin? And they're like, nah, keep it. Okay. There's another for the pile.
It's probably worth a few dollars now, Steve. I'm sure it is.
I should dig them out. They're in storage somewhere back there, but I just got to figure out where it is, but I know I have a bunch of them. I think I have them in a little mini like dollar store treasure chest. I think Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby coin is in there.
I think now that Daniel Alfredsson is going into the Hall of Fame, I've got an old Daniel Alfredsson coin from like the mid 90s. It's probably going to be worth a couple dollars after.
That's pretty cool.
So one of those McDonald's collector's coins or Tim Hortons collector's
That's
one
awesome.
of those type things, but it's got to be worth something, I'm sure.
Yeah,
gotta be worth something. Sorry, sidetracked. So Steve, next
oh my god, this one's probably the most controversial of all the developers we'll talk about, just because of the games they put out. So I'm Rockstar Games, and everybody knows GTA. What flavor, what version, doesn't matter. Everyone knows all the GTAs. Of course, Red Dead Redemption. I put Manhunt on there just as a reminder because I got into the game, but it wasn't as big as any of the others. But big time GTA
Manhunt,
and Red Dead.
Bully.
Yeah, but
table tennis.
Table tennis, why not? But how can you go wrong with a Rockstar game? I mean, that first game that I got to have sex in. So, well, sort of. So, but oh man,
the coffee scene.
Yeah, I think I remember actually
coffee.
Beating up the girl after taking the money back, and it's been so long since I played. It was such a bad game that way. No wonder it was so controversial. I didn't ever play the missions. Like I barely ever did the missions until I think San Andreas. I just didn't care. I just went out and like drove around the city, beating people up, shooting things, doing whatever I want.
You see, I'm not a big. I was never a big GTA fan.
So I was a big fan, like even before it went first person, and it was more like the little guy and the car on the screen. Yeah. So I was pretty excited when the GTA came out, GTA 3 and then GTA Vice City and then San Andreas. So yeah, and then from there on and on, the game never dies. But, but yeah, Rockstar, awesome American developer.
So next, I mean, for me, this is probably my biggest developer out of the US, Bungie, and making the series that impacted my life. One of the series that impacted my life the most, as Steve sings the theme song. Halo. So, and Destiny. I mean, a lot of people love Destiny. I jumped onto Destiny back in the day when it first came out. Haven't jumped back on since. But yeah, Halo. So Halo, and Halo. And they've recently been purchased by Sony. So we'll be interested to see how that works. But yeah.
So who hasn't played Halo that is a gamer, first of all? And then secondly, Destiny was pretty awesome. The thing I didn't like about it, I did play it a lot, Destiny 1 and 2. As I hated playing with people I don't know, and it was always online, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things you needed to do with people, and I've said it a bazillion times on the show. I'm a single player, story driven kind of player. If I want co-op play, I want it couch co-op and local and things like that. Don't care about playing with people I don't know because I want to be social at the same time, and I'm not going to be talking to some 12-year-old about what's going on in their life. I really don't give a shit, Like,
you can talk to it. You can talk to your 12-year-old at home if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's just it, So 13. Actually, I don't have a 12-year-old. I have a 13 now.
13-year-old.
A 13, a 16, and a soon to be 11.
There you go. Somewhere in between. In between. Yep. Yeah. I mean, so Steve, you got the last one. Next game. You want me to go with the last one? So Epic Games. Epic Games with originally Gears of War from them before they went over to Coalition with their, I would like to say, friend of the show, Cliffy B, but he's not a friend of the show. I just like to follow him on Instagram.
Who's going to watch it this far and disagree with you?
Cliff Wazinski, buddy, friend. If you're end up watching this, I'm going to take you. Please watch this or listen, and that would be awesome. But yes, Gears of War, Unreal. Oh my God, how many other games? Epic Games. What's the big one? That Fortnite.
I saw that and I didn't want to put that on there. When I added Epic, I was like, no, I can't put Fortnite.
For shame. Ding.
I mean, it's super successful and people love it, especially the younger generation. This is just showing your age, man. You're catching up to me.
No, but I mean, I blame your generation for letting your kids play Fortnite, fucking Minecraft.
Oh man, well, I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah,
I was trying.
At least our
kids' ages.
Yeah, at least I'm sitting there playing Zelda and like Kirby with my children. You're letting them play Minecraft. And Maddie was like, "Hey, Dad, can I use the Switch?" I'd be like, "Yeah, what game are you gonna play?" She'd be like, "Pokemon or Kirby or Mario." I'd be like,
"Yeah, no problem."
Yes, here you go.
Yeah, to be honest with you,
6-8 hours in my basement to do it. Go ahead, that's fine. You're playing. As long as you're not playing Minecraft.
So I'm not kidding when I walk out of here sometimes and they're all playing Minecraft together or sitting watching each other play Minecraft, whatever they're doing. I'm like, Jesus, you had block people like when you're 4. Why are you still playing with block people on the screen? Like, go play some Lego then, man.
Yeah.
The big fat Lego, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Go and play with the Playcraft or Play School Play School toys. God,
Mega Blocks or whatever the heck they were. But
yeah. Again, Steve, I blame your generation. Anywho, so that's big. That's our big list of Canadian versus American developers. I mean, honestly, it's a big toss-up for me, Steve.
If I had to say one's better than the other, I don't know that I could. There's a lot of American games developed anyway that I really like, and then I fall back, and there's a lot of Canadian ones too. I didn't realize there's as many that were Canadian until we actually put them on paper. But
the downfall and in typical Canadian style. Sorry for all the Canadian watchers and our listeners, but if you look at our list or listen to our list, most of them are American-based companies who.
That's with everything, man. Since the '80s, they've just bought up anything that's successful here.
But anywho, yeah, that's that piece. But we know Canadian beer, Canadian football, and Canadian hockey players is much better than the Americans. So
well, the number one reason our football's better than theirs, even though they call it
we have bigger balls.
Right on.
Bigger balls.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but you beat me to it. Bigger everything actually. Fields wider, fields longer.
It's just so the American players can come in and be like, I don't understand what's happening here. They're just like, just catch this big ball. It doesn't matter.
Welcome to the CFL, where your running backs are white and your quarterbacks are black.
Oh, Steve. Anywho, go Red Blacks.
Right.
Yes. So yeah, you're right. It's hard to say. So many games on both of these lists have been so impactful in our gaming career. Yeah, we'll call it a gaming career, Steve. That it's tough to say what's better, but with Canadian pride, I will say Canadian developers are better, buddy. Go Canada. Come at me, Americans. And anyway, Steve, we should probably end it here before I go into a little bit more of a rant against the Americans and what's going on.
Yeah, we should have a CFL versus NFL talk one time.
However, we need. Yeah,
we'll bring up a couple of guys from the U.S. to pick their side.
How long? The biggest question is how long has the NFL been going for, and how long has the CFL been going for? Well, that's right. The CFL's in the hundreds of years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're like more than doubling them.
Yeah. Screw you, America.
America. Yeah.
But hey, please protect our northern borders against Russia.
We can't do it for ourselves.
Good stuff.
Protect our lily white asses.
We'll just fly our 70-year-old airplanes. Hold on, let me go outside and get the propeller going. All right.
Wait, was that a snowbird? Isn't that from the city?
Yeah.
Oh.
Geez. All right, Steve, we've kind of gone off course here, but yes,
when don't we, man?
As always, it's been a pleasure. Everybody, thank you for listening, watching, paying attention. Whatever, if we've missed a developer or anything else that you want to throw into our list, please add it to the comments. Let us know. we'll definitely highlight it on the next conversation. Here's hoping Steve and I get another pump out one more episode before.
Oh, what we could do if it works out, don't want to commit, but we might do a little clip get together from TFCon, since I'm going there next weekend and you'll be on vacation traveling. Yeah, so it might be hard to connect. But if we can,
we'll try.
That'd be kind of neat. Either way, I'll take some videos and throw it in.
Well, that's it. We still need your Optimus Prime video, Steve. We'll put them together. I really want to hear you talking about Optimus's legs and your legs.
Yeah. He does look pretty damn good for a Lego guy.
Yeah, he does. Oh, wow.
The problems I have, I will explain more, but no knee joint, no bending there. Yeah. He's got a tailbone that prevents his legs from going backwards, so I'm probably going to
makes sense.
This. But no, what happens is that when you transform him, he splits in two half the time because it can't take on the pressure. But in my defense, in a little bit, the reason I haven't done the video is I got myself a brand new PS5 finally. So that's a lot of my time. So
I just hold on, Steve, and everybody else, because we're still recording here. But I just gotta,
I hope he's not going for a dump.
I picked up these bad boys.
Oh, nice.
Couple PSP games. And as Power Master Optimus Prime, I don't have him down here, but from a local garage sale, which was great. So
that's a steal.
Some sweet pickups.
By the way.
Yeah.
So
after looking
sorry,
at
Kai, but that Transformer's not yours anymore.
Man. But anyways, everybody, thank you so much for listening and paying attention to us. Hopefully you've stayed this whole time and saw our sweet pickups and conversations again. Thank you, everybody. If you like it, hit a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, thanks for continuing to watching us and listening to us. Tune in on YouTube and or your podcasting platform. Steve, good sir.
As always, man, keep collecting,
keep gaming,
and keep safe.